From vintage Sun Studios to modern revivalist, Rockabilly keeps roaring back. Let's talk about why. Rockabilly wasn't just a 50s fad, it was a spark that helped ignite rock and roll. In the subsequent decades, it keeps finding new life, sometimes in revival and sometimes as an inspiration, but always fully alive and vital. Let's look at why this sound will not fade away.
The epicenter, of course, was Sam Phillips' Sun Studio in Memphis. Recognizing the racial barriers of the 1950s music industry, Phillips looked for white performers who could embody the feel of the black music he loved, and he found several who would become foundational figures in rock and roll. Elvis Presley's 1954 recording of That's All Right is often cited as the Big Bang. Elvis wasn't copying black R&B singers, he was channeling them through his own hillbilly DNA. The result was something new, raw, and electrifying. Then came Carl Perkins, whose blue suede shoes practically defined the genre's swagger. Jerry Lee Lewis added piano pyrotechnics and unhinged energy. Johnny Cash brought the boom-chicka-boom rhythm that would become a rockabilly cornerstone. And let's not forget the outsiders. Wanda Jackson, the queen of rockabilly, whose growl on Let's Have a Party proved the genre wasn't just a boys' club. Or Gene Vincent, whose Bebop-A-Lula remains one of the coolest records ever cut. By the mid-1970s, nostalgia for early rock and roll was bubbling up. Films like American Graffiti and the rise of oldies radio rekindled interest in the 50s. But the rockabilly revival wasn't just about looking backward. It was about injecting punk energy into a classic form. Enter Robert Gordon, whose collaborations with guitar maestros like Link Wray, Danny Gatton, and Chris Spedding brought rockabilly back with a vengeance. Then came the Stray Cats. With Brian Setzer's blistering Gretsch guitar, Lee Rocker's slap bass, and Slim Jim Phantom's stand-up drumming, they made rockabilly feel dangerous again. Songs like Rock This Town and Stray Cat Strut weren't retro. They were modern classics with a vintage engine. Meanwhile, in the UK, the rockabilly revival scene collided with punk, giving birth to psychobilly, a mutant cousin that blended rockabilly rhythms with horror movie theatrics. Bands like the Cramps pushed the genre into the surreal, proving rockabilly could be as weird as it was wild. And rockabilly today is still slapping, swinging, and influential. The Americana movement, from Chris Isaak to J.D. McPherson, borrows heavily from rockabilly's clean guitar tones and rhythmic snap. McPherson's Signs and Signifiers could have been recorded in 1957 if not for its modern punch. J.D.'s most recent work is a masterclass in fusing influences across decades to create something that sounds both familiar and new. Even pop and indie artists borrow from the genre's DNA. Listen to the slapback echo on Jack White's guitar, the retro-cool swagger of the Black Keys, or the vintage-leaning production of Bruno Mars on tracks like Runaway Baby. Rockabilly's sonic palette remains irresistible.
If you love music with grit, groove, and maybe even a little danger, stick around. We've got plenty more deep dives into the roots that shaped everything. And if you want to support our channel, please visit our online shop. The link is in the description, and so is a discount code. These sales help us keep the lights on, and we think you'll find something you'll like. In any case, thanks so much for visiting. We really appreciate it.